Hi, my name is Brian English, forum name Hyperbytes, and in this I want to go through the how to use a resource manager. Basically, a lot's changed in Wappler since mid version 5 when the resource manager was introduced, and that now deals with both local and cloud-based deployment and databases. And of course, we know that very soon we'll be seeing the introduction of CouchDB as well. And unless you actually understand how the resource manager works and its links with Docker, then that's really going to be difficult for you. So what I want to do is take you on a little journey here. We're going to start with setting up a basic Docker-based project locally, and then we're going to deploy it via the resource manager to a cloud provider, and then I'm going to show you how to introduce your own local and cloud-based databases, which are basically a universal resource. You can deploy directly to a database, and then you can use those databases within any application that you're using on your copy of Wappler, and that means you can share data between them, and you can do that both locally and on the cloud as well. So where do we start? Well, where we really need to start is to look at installing Docker, and we need to look at Docker deployment. So I'm going to start with a little bit of advice. If you're going to install Docker Desktop on your computer, don't mess about allowing Wappler to install that for you. Just download it and install it prior to trying to create your Docker-based site. It just makes the whole setup a little bit simpler. There are a couple of dependencies that you will need for this if you are a Windows user, and they say I'm on Windows 11 here. Just draw your attention to a post here. The reason I draw your attention to it, not because this is a problem now, hopefully certainly from the version 6 these requirements should be bundled with your app install. But if you scroll down there, you will see a post from Patrick, and he talks about some Microsoft C++ runtime libraries which need to be installed. So version 6 should install them. I'm on 5.8.2 at the moment. So just if you click through on that post, I'll put this link into the video's comments. You'll see the various runtimes. You can ignore 2010, it's no longer relevant. I tend to just install 2012, 2013 and 2015 through 2022 as standard on any Windows install, because it's not just Docker that needs these. There's a lot of other bits of software that you probably install that will look for these runtime libraries as well. Having done that, we then go to Docker, go to a Docker site, and we will be able to, that's not what we're looking for, we don't want the doc site, we want Docker Desktop Installer. Go to your Docker site, you can simply download that, install it as you would any other application. You will at one point through the install be asked to choose between a Hyper-V or a WSL2 based install. I suggest you use WSL2. The prompt that you get will show you what to do. Basically, you just need to power up PowerShell if you're in Windows from as an administrator, and then just type into the command that it tells you to command. Off the top of my head, might not be exact, it's just something like ws install --update, I think. And that will update everything you need for WSL, and then basically your Docker is just a straightforward install as you would have on any other application. You need to create your account with Docker, free account obviously, log in, and you are ready to roll in terms of using Docker on your system. What else? You're obviously going to need a cloud provider account. I'm using DigitalOcean on this, and you can see this is totally blank. There's no droplets on there of any kind. We're going to start right from the very start. So let's look at the most obvious thing. Let's create ourselves a new project. So blank project, we're going to just call this my demo, for want of anything better to call it. Project folder, we're going to add a new folder, call it my demo. Select that folder. We're going to use a Docker deployment, and I'm going to be using Node.js. Let's save that. That was fairly straightforward, no great complications there. It will now ask you if you want to check the dependencies. Yes, of course you do. And if you open the terminal here, you'll be able to see it going on. Now, one thing I'm going to say here while this is going is that's the most important word that I can give you in relation to doing what we're doing today is patience. A lot of these things that we do are not instant. Some of them will take a few minutes, some of them even longer, and I will comment on that, and I'll also be editing these videos probably just to take away some of these long waiting pauses. For instance, now the run npm install can take a minute or so, depending on the speed of your system and the speed of your connection. So there we are, we're all launched. We've got everything sorted there. We can see that there's deployed, but you see we've only got a circle with only half a green there. That tells us only half the services are running. So if we go back into our project settings now, targets, if we look, then we've presumably got a problem here with Docker not fully running. So we save that. We'll just allow it to do another pull. There we see now that we've deployed. We've got a full green circle to show that both the web server and database are running. If I pop over in Docker now, look at our containers, we can see our My Demo development has been created there, and we have both a web server and a database created within that. And if I just create something very simple in here, container, row, column, heading, hello Wapplers, save. Now if I deploy that again, and you can just open that up, have a look, everything's sorted. If we hit our open in browser, you can see that page is now deployed to our local provider, and everything is running happily as it should be. So our next stage will be looking at how to deploy that to our remote server via the cloud provider section. So I hope you join me on that one.